Luz y progreso y gracia a la misericordia. This is Sancista Brujo Luis, and I just want to say first, Happy New Year's to everybody. This is Sancista Brujo Luis, and I'm doing a video today because I received a lot of emails and messages last year on people who wanted to develop a connection with their spirit guides, with their ancestors, with their santos, their saints, or their divinities. Many people come to espiritistas, or they come to a santero or ungano, a shaman, and they are told to develop their connection with their spirits. And oftentimes they're told to build an altar, and many people confuse building an altar with, okay, if I build this altar, I'm automatically going to start receiving messages. No, this is not the way it really works. I'm sorry. I wish it was that easy. It's not the way it works. Being Puerto Rican and being from a family of espiritistas, and it's not just Puerto Ricans, Cubans, people from Venezuela, Brazil. If we are raised in a spiritual family, in a family de espiritistas, espírita, we are taught from a young age to desarrollar our dones. Our dones are our gifts, our facultades espirituales, our spiritual faculties. And we are taught to develop these during our whole life. It's very important. These are steps that we are always encouraged to do, okay? Now, just like the physical body, when you want to become muscular or you want to be strong, you go to a gym and you do exercise because you want to build your muscles. The same thing with your spiritual faculties. You have to exercise these because in order to get them stronger. Do you see what I'm saying? Just by you building an altar and you think these spirits are gonna send you messages and you're gonna be psychic, it doesn't work that way. You have to really develop these, and sometimes it could take, it depend, each person is very different. It could be quick, and some it could take longer. But I want everyone to focus on that. Before you learned how to run, you had to learn how to crawl. So take a moment to really develop these. I have been raised in this tradition. I'm 46 years old, and I still exercise these spiritual faculties, these spiritual gifts. I still exercise them once a month. I used to exercise them when I was younger, once every other week or once a week. I would do all these exercises, which are very simple and we could all do. Now I just do it once a month, or sometimes it just hits me and says, I'm going to do it today, and I just do it. The whole day I do it, and just to exercise that. Okay, so let me talk to you about these spiritual faculties, and I just want you to know that first of all, we're all born with them. No one is, it is God-given gift, and it's a God-given gift given to everybody that is alive and present today. Okay, what I have is nothing special. It's just that I have developed and worked at it all my life, and I still develop and work at it. So we are all born with it. Now, like I said, there are some that are born with it. We're all born with it, but some that are born with it, and they take through their whole life time to develop it, to desarrollarlo. Okay, these spiritual faculties. Most people, especially in today's society, in our age, we're born with it, but as time passes, it wanes. Because they don't develop it. Just like a muscle, if you don't work at it, it just turns into fat. So it goes dormant. It's still there. It's just not being worked. It's not being used. So as time goes by and they don't use it, they lose these spiritual it wanes. You don't lose it. It just wanes, or it goes into a sleep stage. But sometimes you will get a glimpse of it here and there. Okay. Other ways that it can happen is during a traumatic experience, whether it be such as a near-death experience. You are born with it, and It wanes for a while, and then something traumatic happens into your life. You suffer a susto, or you suffer a near-death experience, and when you come back, you have all these, it's reawakened. Okay, so then we have to learn how to develop that. Other times, it depends on the person. Again, we're born with it, and it goes dormant or it goes to sleep until the person reaches puberty, and then it just reawakens, these faculties, these spiritual gifts, okay? And then that person, often they're confused. At 13, 12 years old, they're confused, and they don't know what's happening. Where are they getting these messages? Are they going crazy? And it's sad because most of these people don't have a spiritual teacher there to help them develop it. So what I'm going to do right now is give you exercises that I do. They're very simple. Anyone can do them. They're not complicated. And I want you to really take one day out of there's going to be a six steps. And I want you to take one day to really focus on one, okay? The whole day. And if by chance you forget that you're doing it, it's okay. Don't worry about it. Recognize that you forgot about it and say, I'm going to start again at this hour and just keep going. You see what I'm saying? It's okay if you forget, things happen and we often forget. So don't worry about that, okay? So I want you to wake up one day and we're going to focus on exercising our vision, seeing things, okay? Really seeing things. Oftentimes we walk through the life, especially in modern time when we have a cell phone in front of our face and we don't see the world around us. Put your cell phone down, and I really want you to focus one day on seeing the world around you. When you wake up in the morning, you say, today I'm going to exercise my vision, my sight. And as you open your eyes, I really want you to look at the ceiling and try to look at the patterns of the walls, or if there's a crack, make a mental note and say, I never saw that crack on the ceiling. Look at the tiles in your bathroom. I never saw that grit there. I need to clean it. Make a note about that. When you go outside, look at the sky. Is the sky blue? Is the sky gray? Look at the trees, that if you have trees around you, focus on, is there a bird's nest there? Oh wow, I've never realized that there was a bird's nest there on the tree in my lawn. Look at the sky. Is it blue? Make a mental note. Is it a nice, beautiful blue? Is it gray? Take a walk towards a park or towards the downtown area. I've been living in the Mill City where I live for 46 years, and sometimes I say, I'm going to focus on my vision, and I see things that I passed this building millions of times, and I've never really, I never saw that was that pattern. The bricks were in that pattern, or that Spanish light post was there, and I make a mental note of what I see. Sometimes I pass by a church that I have passed by millions of times since I was a little child, and there's a tree, but I never really saw what kind of tree it was. So sometimes, is it a birch, or is it a maple? Or if you live in a tropical, is it an elm tree? And if you live in a tropical area, is it a palm tree? What kind of palm tree is it? So really look at it, see it, and make a mental note of what it is. Okay, and you're going to do that through the whole day. Really taking time to make mental notes of things that you saw that day. On the second day, I really want you to take the time to say, today I'm going to listen. I'm going to listen to the world around me. A lot of people think that hearing and listening are the same things. They're not. Right now, you're listening to my voice as I speak to you through this video. Well, I hope you're listening to my voice as I speak through, to you through this video. But you hear noises in the background. It could be a refrigerator. It could be a car passing by. It could be the music of your neighbors. You hear them, but you're focused on listening to my voice. So I want you to wake up in the morning and really listen. Listen to the music in the background. If there's music playing, what kind of music, and really focus on what it is. Listen to the coffee machine. If you drink coffee, listen to it as it as it pours. Listen when you wash your face and you turn on the water. Listen to the water as it goes down, listen to the water. Listen to your footsteps as it goes down the steps. Listen to your breathing. Okay, really listen to your breathing. Listen to the way your car sounds when you turn it on. Really take a moment to listen to the words that people say to you during that day. Really focus on looking at them and listening to the tones of their voice. Are they happy with you? Are they upset with you? Okay, take that time to listen. Listen to the birds in the trees and say, focus on what kind of bird is it. Listen to the crows. If you have crows in your area, listen to the crows. Listen to the children in the background. Are they happy? As you're driving, to work or from work, listen to the city around you, the city life around you. What are the musics that people listen to? Make mental notes. Oh, this person's listening to rock and roll, and this person's listening to reggaeton. So really take a moment to listen. To take a moment to listen to everything, okay? And that's going to be on your third day. On your second day. On your third day, you're going to work on feeling. And what I'm talking about more is your emotional feelings. So when you wake up, how's that cool water make? Well, first of all, how do you feel when you woke up? What is that first initial emotional feeling when you woke up? Are you well rested? Are you tired? Did you rest well? When you splash your face with water, how does that make you feel? When you take that first sip of coffee in the morning, how did it make you feel? How did you feel before that first sip and after you take that sip? And if you don't drink coffee, fine. How does your yerba mate, your tea, how does it make you feel when you drank it? How does your cologne, your body lotion make you feel? Does it change your emotions? Does that cologne that you put on in the morning change an emotion within you? Did it make you feel happier? Did it make you really take that day to pay attention to your feelings? Listen to tones of people's voices. How did that make you feel? And make a mental note of how it made you really feel. And what was that word that made you feel upset? Or what was that word that made you feel happy? And really take that day to feel your emotions, okay? Feel just pretty much everything. How does this day make you feel? The sun, if it's sunny outside, how does it make you feel? In contrast to if the day was cloudy, how does that make you feel? When you're going to work, how's the cool air on your skin make you feel? What kind of emotions does it stir or awaken within you? So you're going to focus on feeling. Excuse me. On the fourth day, I really want you to focus on smelling, on aromas, and focus on what's it smell like when if you're married, your wife or your husband is brewing coffee. It's the smell, the aroma of coffee. What does the breakfast smell like? When you put bread in the toaster, smell that bread toasting. Or bread, if you pass by a bakery, the smell of yeast and bread or pastries. Really focus on smell. Smell the grass, okay? Smell the air. Do you smell rain coming? Do you smell snow coming? Smell the inside of your car. Do you smell a faint perfume? Maybe something you put in your car to give it an aroma. Do you smell that aroma? Smell people's colognes, if you're working in an office space and people pass by, is their aroma musky? Is their aroma floral? Is their aroma pungent? And really focus on that. Focus on your own cologne. When you splash on your cologne, your perfume, the smell. What is the smell that really attracts me to this perfume? Why does that smell? What does it stir within me, and why do I like that aroma? So I really want you to focus on smell, foods. If you pass by a restaurant, smell of Italian food or Puerto Rican food or Indian food or Southeast Asian food. What's the aromas? That brings on hunger. The smells. So really focus on smelling. The fifth day, I really want you to focus on tasting. Okay, really focus on tasting. Believe it or not, a lot of people eat and they think they taste, they do, but they don't recognize that taste. So when I take my coffee in the morning and I taste it for the first time, what did I feel on my tongue? What was the taste? Is it sweet? Is it bitter? My eggs, how do they taste? Do they need a little salt? My bread, how did it taste? Is it dry? Does it need more butter? What are the herbs in your dinner? Can you pick out herbs that, if let's say you're married, your spouse, what herbs did they add to the food? Can you make out the different herbs? Can you make out parsley? Can you make out basil? If you eat pizza, is the sauce sweet? Do you taste the sweetness or do you taste the saltiness of it? So really take that day to taste things, and make notes of what you taste. On the final day, which is the sixth day, touch. Now, this is not emotional touch. This is more of the physical touch. While on the on the third day, we're working on feelings. Okay, now we're going to talk about touching, physically touching. When you have your fingers here and you pick up your cup of coffee, you feel the heat on your fingertips. When you touch the table, you feel the coolness of the table. How does that feel? Right now, that plant brushed against my I can touch it. Or you can physically touch it and it's a plant life, it's plant matter. Water, touch water. How does it feel like when you touch water? What sensations does it send through your fingers when you touch it? When you shake a person's hand, is their hands dry? Is their hands soft, moisturized? Touch your clothing, how does it feel with your fingers? And how's it feel on your body? You can feel, is it pulling? Is it loose on you? This right now, I feeling it, that's going over here, I push it back. How did that make me feel? And literally touch it. How does it feel when I, that this watch is touching my skin? Am I comfortable? I'm often comfortable with pajama, loose clothing. How does tighter clothing make me feel? How's that, that touch with my body feel? How's it feel when someone touches you? Does it feel appropriate or inappropriate? So focus on that, on touching, physical touching. Okay, these are simple exercises that we can do to really develop our spirits, our dead, okay, our muertos, our connection with our spirit guides and our ancestors. So we're going to start with the first one, which is seeing. What you're developing right now, and when you do that exercise through the whole day, what you're developing is your clairvoyance. Oftentimes, spirits send messages through either our physical eye or through our third eye. And you see impressions. Often we see a shadow behind us or the corner of our eye, and we think, is it real, or is it imaginary, or is it spiritual? Don't focus on that, but focus that you saw it. Okay, don't worry if it's imaginary. Don't worry if it's spiritual. Just recognize that you saw it. And because that's how spirits send messages to us. When they appear to us, they appear quickly sometimes, through quick, pass by, or sometimes you can really see them in your third eye, in your mind's eye. You can see the presence in your spirits, your spirit guides, or your ancestors. So there you're working on your clairvoyance. Okay, listening or hearing is clairaudience. Okay, oftentimes our spirits whisper, and it goes unnoticed because we're not listening. So we need to focus on listening, because our spirits often speak to us in a whisper. And you need to learn how to listen to know what they are saying. Okay, so that is why we're using that second exercise. The third exercise, which is feeling, is clairsentience. Because sometimes our spirits send emotions into us. You can go into a room and you can feel the emotions. Most times you can feel the emotions. Do the emotions feel, before you walked in, is everyone happy, or is it a stressful situation? What is the emotions that greet you the moment you walk in through those doorways? Oftentimes when I shake a person's hands, I can feel their emotions. Even if they pretend to be happy, I can feel that something is bothering them, and I'm picking up on that. And our spirits send messages through our emotions. So please focus on that. Okay. Smelling, which is clairsent. Oftentimes our spirits send aroma, a faint aroma. I know my grandmother, my abuelita, is present because she used to love the smell of gardenias. I think it was called gardenias del Caribe. It was a lotion that she always wore, and I haven't seen that. I only see that in Puerto Rico. But whenever I smell, and no one wears it around me, but whenever I smell the faint scent of Gardenias del Caribe, I know that her presence is there. Sometimes I can be in a room and I smell the faint aromas of roses. And I know my tia Rosa was there. She was named after roses, and she also loved roses. So I can smell there might not be a rose in the room, but sometimes I can literally smell the scent of roses. And I know, and spirits send scents to us. Okay, so really try to develop that. Tasting. Okay, again, I'm tasting my coffee. Spirits often send a flavor to our mouth. When I'm talking to a client sometimes, and the spirit, a spirit manifests for them, they're usually, I can see them. I can see them whether physically or in my mind's eye. And then sometimes they want to give me evidence, so that the person knows that spirit is theirs. And so they often do something like this, and I can smell like an herb. And I say, I can, they're doing something like this. I can smell an herb, and I don't know what kind of herb it is. They place the herb in my mouth, and I'm like, I taste parsley or oregano. And most people recognize, oh yes, my grandmother, she loved oregano. So spirits often send messages through taste, faint tasting, faint flavors within our mouth. Okay, so please try to develop that. It's really important. And tasting, which is clairtangency. The final, which is touching, is clairgustance. Okay, touching. Spirits often physically touch us, and it goes unnoticed. Sometimes you feel the hairs in the back of your neck rise up. You can physically feel it, and it could be a gush of wind. That's fine, but sometimes it could be a spirit, because spirits do touch us in a faint, small way, again, that goes unnoticed unless we develop it and we recognize, is it spiritual or is it physical? Is there a physical breeze passing through, or is it really spiritual? And also mediums, channelers, mediunidades, we need to know when we're touched. The body has a certain way of letting you know, is the body in danger or is it comfortable? A spirit that's part of our spiritual quadrant, our cuadro espiritual, will touch us in a way that makes us feel comfortable. It's like you're being touched by a parental figure, or you're touching you're hugging your granddaughter or your pets. You're physically touching it. They touch you, and that feeling feels good. And then when it's not a spirit of your spiritual quadrant, or your cuadro espiritual, which is more elevated, sometimes a spirit of a lower level, will touch you, and you will feel, oh, it feels dirty, or it just doesn't feel right to me. I remember I had gone to Salem, Massachusetts, with a medium from Puerto Rico. And I was giving her a tour of Salem, Massachusetts, and we had gone into the museum, and there was a witch's room where I guess they do ceremonies. And I remember, in order to get to that room, you have to open the doorknob, and go into this room. And I remember when she touched the doorknob, she pushed back and she's like, it just doesn't feel right. I feel the energy's there. It doesn't feel right, and I'm not going to step through those doors, which was fine. I had to respect that, and I do respect that, you know. So really focus on touching, because the spirits do send us light feelings of touching through our body. Okay, so these are things that we should really try to develop. This is the first course on that, which is clairvoyance. You know, in Spanish is called clarividencia, which is also clear vision, the third eye, psychic vision. Okay. Often you will hear Latinos say vidente y clarividente. Those are two different things. Vidente is when you use an oracle, a deck of playing cards, or dominoes, or I don't know, shells, or whatever it may be, dice, to get messages from whether your psyche or your spirit guides. Those are videntes. I also use, you know, tarot cards and la baraja española, Spanish deck, to receive messages. And sometimes I can not even use that, and that's when I'm using my clarividencia to get messages from the spiritual realm. And they often come from my own spiritual guides, and I've developed that. Clairaudience, you know, most mediums are clairvoyant and clairaudience. I listen, you know, to the world around me. You cannot sneak up on me, because I really listen to everything. I could be talking to you, but I'm listening. I have eyes behind my head, but I'm also listening to everybody. Footsteps behind me. I'm really always focused on listening to the world around me. Maybe someday I'll, you know, go deeper into that. Clairsentience, okay? Sensation. I'm always feeling how people's words make me feel, and their tones of their voice, does it make me feel good? So I'm always developing that, and you should also try to develop that. Again, it's a message, and sometimes spirits send emotions to us. Okay, clairsent, the smelling, again, aromas. Spirits send aromas to us, you know, faint aromas that go unnoticed. So we should try to develop the aromas. Okay, clairgustance, you know, clear tasting. Okay, that coffee, how's it taste? Now let's go with also clear that of tasting, but also how's it feel when the coffee is going down the throat and into the stomach? How's that feel as it gets the warmth of the coffee goes into your stomach and you feel it? Make a mental note that it gets cooler. You know, most times these things go unnoticed. Really take a sip of your coffee. Feel it go down your throat. Feel it go into your chest area. And I can feel it physically going into my stomach. And I feel the warmth and it's turning cooler. Okay? But I'm also focusing also on the taste. What tastes do I taste? Is my coffee bitter? Is my coffee sweet? Okay? Spirits send messages through taste. Faint tastes. Okay? Clairtangency. Touching. Spirits do touch us. They do touch us in subtle ways that are really light. And like I said, it could be your hairs could lift up from the back, or you can get goosebumps because spirits touch us in soft, subtle ways. Okay, and the body lets us know. The body has a natural way of letting you know: is it a positive feeling or is it a negative? Does that touch make? Is it a negative touch? Negative, lower level spirits often touch us in an aggressive way that makes our body feel uncomfortable, while a spirit from your spirit guide, or spirit from your cuadro espiritual that's more elevated, the touch, it just feels good, it feels comforting, it feels soothing. Okay, so anyways, this is Sancita Brujo Luis. I hope you take the day, to really, one day out of your week, to really focus on these exercises that I gave. They really help you to develop your connection with your spirit guides, with your ancestors, with your santos, with your divinities, with your santos, or with your loa, or with your misterios, with your richa. but mostly it's to develop our, develop the dead, develop our interaction with our spirits. And when you do these exercises and you do them, after time it becomes second nature, where you're just doing it all the time. You wake up in the morning and you just start doing it, and you're controlling these things. You're not letting these emotions control you. You're controlling the touch and what's it feel. So really, I hope everyone does these exercises, because a lot of people want to develop their dead, and by building an altar, they think these spirits are just going to start popping up. It doesn't work that way. You really have to physically focus your intention on exercising these spiritual dones, these spiritual gifts, these spiritual facultades. Anyways, this is Sancista Brujo Luis. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please leave a comment down below. Please hit that like button. Please share videos in your favorite social media or with somebody you think might use, the video might be helpful for. And thank you for subscribing. Happy 2016 is 2016, my first video, and I really appreciate everybody for being here and spending this time with me. Much love, much respects. Santo Sanse, Sancista Brujo Luis.